This is the video review for Transformers Beast Machine Supreme Cheetor. Before I begin, I just want to say this figure is giant, and I'll do my best keeping it on camera. I can't give any more guarantee than that. This figure is one of the most infamous figures in all of Transdom. It is even more famous for being bad than Armada Hotshot. And you know, like Armada Hotshot, I actually kind of like this figure. Now, don't get me wrong, it's a terrible figure. It has so many technical faults that it's embarrassing, but I've actually had a fairly decent time just playing with this guy. I mean, this cat mode, it actually looks pretty damn good. I like the way it looks. It looks like a cat. It looks kind of skinny, but it looks Beast Machine-ish. And while the front legs have somewhat hindered articulation, the back legs have great articulation. So in this mode for articulation, the front legs have asymmetrical articulation. That's most of the problem. The front leg can go forward, back, and it can go out one click. It has a bicep swivel and an elbow. You can move the paw, but if you do it, that happens, which is a very strange gimmick. I have no idea why it was thought appropriate to put in here. And then this arm, you can move it up and down, and then if you try and move this joint, it'll actually cause the shoulder to bend, and then if you release it, it springs back. And that's part of a very strange missile launch gimmick where there are two missiles, one that goes here, one that goes here. You're supposed to bring it down, and then when it goes forward, it shoots. But because of how old this figure is, sorry, the tail came off. Yeah, this is the tail, it likes to come off. Because of how old this figure is and all this clear plastic on it, I think the mechanism inside of here is broken. Apparently I have no idea, but it almost seems like they use this translucent plastic in this internal mechanism. So I can't really show that off, it's a broken feature. And then the head here, it kind of moves around back and forth, but it flops. And the reason why is because if you see this little orange bit here, I know it's kind of a sea of yellow. If you turn that, it will cause the head to rotate. It'll skip a lot. And then in the back, there's actually a fair bit of interesting articulation here because, oops. And this figure is kind of a mess. This can move side to side. It can rotate, and this is a really neat joint. It really makes the cat mode have interesting poses. And then the hind quarters have some pretty nice articulation. You can move this back and forward, in and out. You have a knee joint here that can also rotate above the knee, although this part right here will get in the way. Although if you really want to, you can just pop it off. Come on, you came off so easily the other time. You can just pop it off if it's that annoying. But you've got that joint. Come on, go back on. You've got that joint. You've got a knee back here. You have an extender here if you need it. And this can rotate. And the actual toes can move back and forth. So the hind legs have a lot of articulation, and the hind legs are, at least in cat mode, very fun to play around with because you can do quite a few interesting poses with them. Come on, let's sit flat again. There we go. And let's see. There's one last thing about the beast mode. If you pull back on this little tab here, his mane will go up and down. Kind of a strange gimmick, but it's okay. And that is the beast mode. This is the tail that came off to to begin the transformation, you will want to take it off, and it kind of has this hinge gimmick here that makes it a sword, but as you'll see in robot mode, he doesn't really have a way to hold this. It's so strange. So to begin the transformation, we'll unplug this belly bit here, which will allow us to rotate this belly bit around. And then what we'll do is we will wait for now. Next, what we need to do is we need to come here. Let me raise this. We need to untab the head and bring this chest bit down. Oh, come on. Oh, yes, I see. I'm dumb. Let me get this back on. Yeah, this guy is made of so many of these joints that just sort of pop off. So yeah, we'll bring this chest bit down. We'll fold out his actual head, which pops off so easily. And then we'll bring the cheetah head down into the chest. And then we'll bring this, come on, go down, head up, and plug it into place. And next what we will do is we will start collapsing the body together. And that will allow us to take this belly piece and plug it into his chest. And because we've collapsed everything together, we can take this piece, we can telescope it out and plug it into this hole up here. And then we can start straightening out the legs, and basically this whole process is giant, and you need 2 hands to really do it. And he is very top heavy, so he's probably going to fall over. Let's see, can I get him standing? And this is Supreme Cheetor in a very wacky robot mode that's refusing to stand up. You can see his legs all the way up to his head, and yeah, this thing does look very weird, especially with his giant chest, and yeah, this is one of the strangest figures. And this actually is not his full height, because as you can see, don't fall. As you can see, his legs are all bunched together. He can actually get a lot taller. He's a giant figure. Like I said, I'm not going to be able to get him all on camera. And posing this guy is very hard because he has so many joints in his leg, and while they're strong ratchets, they're not strong enough. And then his feet, they don't have an ankle tilt, and they're not flat on the instep, so you have to be very careful with how he's standing too. And one thing you'll notice is that he has rubber soles, and this is to help keep him from slipping. Even Hasbro knew this guy, well, I don't know how they couldn't know, but even Hasbro knew this guy had trouble standing. So let me try and get him into a pose. It's possible to get him into a pose that's more than just standing straight up and down. I've done it a lot, actually. That's actually part of the fun of this figure, just a puzzle of getting him to stand. I mean, he has enough joints that you can do it. It's just a matter of how much patience you're willing to give. Although, for this figure, I can see why some people wouldn't be willing to give any patience. Yeah, see, there we have his leg. He's standing. It's a very weird pose, but it works. You've seen the leg articulation. It's basically the same as it was before in cat mode, and the arm articulation is the same too. The only difference now is that he has a head that can turn left and right, and if you touch this little tab on his back, his jaw will open. And yeah, this is Supreme Cheetor. Let's try and move him back so we can get a little bit better lit. And I'm not going to be able to change the lighting enough to get him to look decent. Let's see, about the only thing left to show you about this guy is his little sword. Let's see, you've seen this gimmick, and this makes it very hard for him to hold his sword. And this is really the only hand where he has enough posability to hold the sword, so let me kind of show you how it's supposed to work. Yeah, he's gonna start falling. You kind of thread his fingers through like this, and it'll work, he'll hold it, but he can't hold it straight. And it's awful. There's no other way to describe his sword. It's awful. I mean, the cat mode on this guy is good. The robot mode is abominable. But yeah, this thing is, it's awful, awful, awful. You know, what else can I say? I like him, but it's a guilty pleasure kind of thing. I know I shouldn't like him. There's so many little technical problems with him. I can enjoy him, but it's hard to explain how. I mean, he's an awful figure. Awful, 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 awful. Yeah, I'm ranting now. I really should shut up. It's just, there's so much to this figure yet. There's nothing to this figure. This is a mind-warping figure. It's strange to believe that something could be this bad. Especially in Transformers. Transformers are awesome. How could Hasbro not? How could Hasbro release this? Now I'm getting into melodrama. Yeah, thank you for watching.